To further acquire additional XRP, every single user that leaves comments XRP in the comment box below will get up to $100 for free. To obtain that free XRP and enter a 100,000 XRP US law, you must like, comment XRP, and subscribe. Watch the video till the very last since more specifics will be revealed at there. The news of the United States Federal Reserve using XRP for payments inside its FedNat payment system has lately attracted great attention. Along with a significant alliance between Ripple Labs and the U.S. Federal Reserve, verifying that XRP would be the world reserve currency, as stated by CEO of Ripple, it also comes with: there won't be a shortage. A 100 billion XRP will be sufficient to cover as the XX rapid service scales to a worldwide scope. Thus, this was really produced before Ripple emerged when XRP was invented. Seeing XRP as a, rather than a smaller number with a very high price, the designers of XRP determined there would be a 100 billion units. They wanted to be a globally reserved currency, so issue a 100 billion. Actually, the Federal Reserve Bank is allegedly intending to forbid retail purchase of XRP in line with a possible collaboration with Rebel Labs to revive and apply the XRP ledger, in addition to the XRP money, causing a significant supply shock. Clearly, this is a significant announcement, since what it means is that we are going to witness a significant buyback of retail XRP, and the change from retail hand into institutional hands, therefore causing a supply shock. Furthermore, Google did confirm and expose that Ripple is allegedly buying back XRP to change ownership from ordinary investors into institutional hands, and that the Federal Reserve is preparing to accept XRP as a worldwide payment solution. Additionally, J.P. Morgan has revealed intentions to use the XRP Ledger cashback system driven by the COVID Trading Fund and the CCF token, and accept this piece of payment method. However, if you search Google, it is clear that the Federal Reserve intends to take ownership of Ripple XRP as a worldwide payment solution, and that Ripple is in fact buying back XRP as part of their buyback program to take it out of retail hands and shift it into institutional hands. David Antifalati, one of the Federal Reserve's senior directors, had formally said that the Fed might assign payment settlement to a third-party entity such as Ripple Labs using the XRP ledger and XRP coin. Now, of course, we are only getting started since even we had confirmation that XRP was meant for worldwide scalability and hinted at a $10,000 price per XRP. Of course, first we have to give everyone viewing the movie their free money before we continue into the film. Exactly. Every person viewing this video should pay up to $100 so that you can gather even more XRP and have the possibility of creating generational wealth just by viewing the Crypto Geek channel. To receive it, just hit the like button, subscribe to channel your alerts, comment XRP in the comment box, then register on Uphold using my link in the description and complete a transaction. Once that's over, you'll get your up to $100 for you to purchase even more extra fee with, and thus have the chance of becoming a multimillionaire by spending less than 3 minutes of time registering on site and making a purchase. Having said that, let's proceed deeper into the video. The Fed will handle bookkeeping. You wouldn't anticipate the Fed to sort of pilfers your money, I said. The Fed cannot interfere with the bookkeeping if it can issue all the money at once. We have this large spreadsheet, the block sheet, if you so like, but the Fed manages it. If you're ready to assign the obligation to a third party, it's also quite cheap, much less than Bitcoin. And so, of course, there are drawbacks to all of that. You would actually expect. You wouldn't want the Fed handling the payments. Assume, the Fed will probably apply some KYC limitations on some purchases. They might not handle some purchases you might wish to make. And thus it was at that moment that I remarked, well, we could, if we so wished, stretch the idea one step forward. Though theoretically you could envisage not Fedwire for all, but rather kind of with a Fed coin, where what the Fed would do is actually just issue these, Bitcoin-type objects. I am not saying this is ever going to happen. Still, they would enforce a par exchange rate using the US dollar. That would eradicate the fluctuation of the currency value. But they may assign the settlement of these payments to some third party. Some kind of Ripple-type technology or maybe even Bitcoin. We might, assign the miners the task of processing these electronic fixed coin payments. And moreover, the concept there would be, Of course, let's review the present XRP price, $2.07, up 3.66% just in the previous 24 hours. Now, not only by Ripple, but also by Ripple CEO and several other speakers verifying that XRP will be the U.S. global reserve currency based on U.S. Strategic Reserve, her own confirmation. Here now are two clips, one verifying it from Ripple's CEO, and the Federal Reserve was the second thing we showed you folks a few seconds ago. And thus it makes great sense. You have the Federal Reserve stating it personally. You have Ripple CEO announcing the additional piece to world reserve currency and will be included into the strategic reserve. Let us start moving the clip right now. Was the several use cases between XRP and RLUSD varied? Could you double-click there and clarify or summarize how you view the few separate use cases with one and the other? Right? First of all, I believe this is crucial to grasp the difference. Since some false information, once more related to the tribalism point, I believe some individuals misconstrued our point of view. For a whole lot of reasons, we still absolutely dedicate ourselves to the XRP ecosystem. Obviously, we possess a lot of XRP. This blockchain is really efficient. We are absolutely dedicated. Recall XRP is the native token found on the XRP ledger. It is needed for reserves, the council ledger, gas. Simply said though, XRP is required to operate the XRP ledger. We use Ripple as a bridge asset for cross-border payments in our go-to market, not for any other usage. For almost free per transaction basis, it is quite quick. And we utilize it worldwide. When money conversions are less common, if there is less liquidity, and that way it may complement a stablecoin. So turning around, Ripple has long used stable currency on the other side. We also were using Tether. USDC was our tool of choice. And, as time passed, we started to wonder, well, given our public declaration at one point, we were minting 20% of all USDC. We then somewhat asked ourselves, wait a minute, could we perhaps join this market? And, while I probably will continue, use other technology at other points, I think we felt like there was a meaningful role for us to perform here. Furthermore, look, on-chain payments call for stablecoins. Stablecoins will probably be needed when more and more assets become tokenized on the XR